Okay, Stephen Key here, and I have a special guest. They're all special guests, as far as I'm concerned. Andrew, we've known each other for how many years?
At least 6, maybe 7.
And I think we met back in New York, I think, at an inventors group, I think, in downtown, right? New York,
Yes,
Manhattan.
you did a wonderful talk, and then I came up after. I said how much you and Andrew and your whole team have meant to me from way back when, and it was wonderful.
All right, thank you. Well, you're an inventor, aren't you? But you're a lot of things. You're a photographer. You're an inventor. Is that right?
Yes, I'm an inventor. Officially licensed one product, but that still makes me an inventor. But I have, I would say, 10 different notebooks full of my ideas. So I have a lot more that I'd love to see come to market. And I'm also a consultant. So I help people with all different things, from their photography workflow, from getting their pictures into the computer to doing backups and everything. And I just love to help people also do printing. So I have this whole photography mindset, and I believe that has led me to this product and a lot of other things.
Yeah, your work is spectacular, by the way. So,
thank you. So is yours. You post some amazing stuff on Facebook.
Well, thank you. Well, let's talk about you saw a problem and you came up with a product, right? And that product is selling. So let's talk about the problem and your invention. Okay?
Absolutely. So it was about 11 years ago. I had an exhibition at it was a very high-end flower shop, which is kind of a nice opportunity. It was of my flower photography, and I actually have one of the framed pictures that caused me to want to create this product, because what I did not do before I gave them my pictures to hang is I didn't really have a proper way to get them back so that they would be protected. Okay. So here is.
So wait, the problem is protection. Let's talk about the.
Yes, it was protection of my artwork.
Okay.
So I needed to make sure that my artwork was protected both on the way to the gallery, or to, in this case, it was a flower shop. And then when I got them back, I wanted to make sure that they were well protected.
All right.
So this is one of the pieces from the show. I'll show that first.
Okay.
Yeah. You can see most of it.
Yep.
But what happened was there are a number of areas that you can see. I will do my best to show them to you. There's one right up here, big gouge.
All right.
Just bring that
down. I see it. Okay.
And there's another one. Let me show it.
Oh, okay.
See, right there's a big gouge there. So this really.
And that's expensive. Framing's expensive, isn't it?
Yes, this was like over $1,000 for all of my pieces. There were like 9 or 10 pieces.
Okay.
So I needed something to protect it because it was just so heartbreaking. And I know a lot of other people have this issue, but this was something I had to deal with. So I really went back to my contact list, and I was on a great list. It was on a Yahoo group, which they're still around for a little while longer, but now I would say the equivalent would be Facebook groups. Okay. And so I went on the Facebook group, and I noticed that there was a gentleman named Mark Rogers, and he founded and owned a frame, I would say sort of wholesale, but he also sells to individuals. Okay. Online framing company. So I said, Mark, can you make me a custom bubble bag? Okay. And he said, maybe, because he had those big sealers that in order to protect all kinds of things. And he had bubble wrap, which wasn't as good as this bubble wrap, but it was quite good. And so he sent them to me, and I tried them out, and it was like magic. It worked perfectly. But the problem was it wasn't really strong enough for my needs. So I said to him, well, why don't we look for some heavier material, and we can maybe make some better samples. Okay. So we worked together, and we came up with a really heavy-duty product. Right. And 10 years later, they've sold thousands and thousands of bags, and it just makes me feel really good to be able to help so many people.
All right, so let's talk about this. So you sell those yourself, or do they sell it? Who sells the product?
I license it, so I receive a royalty.
Okay, congratulations. Okay, that
Thank you.
that's very cool.
And I have
So,
to thank you and Andrew because I would not have known how to do this properly if I didn't learn from your initial webinars.
okay,
It was over 10 years ago, so
wonderful.
it's just excellent.
So you saw a problem. I know artwork's expensive. I know the framing is extremely expensive, and you want to make sure it looks good when you're shipping it. So a company, you license it to a company. What about the different sizes? Do they make them in all different sizes? And how big can they build one? Because so some artwork is huge.
Absolutely. So even though we don't usually get many calls for this size,
All right.
they can be made in this size with or without a Velcro brand closure like this.
Nice.
But let's say this is also not typical, but I like to show this just because it's just an example of what's possible.
Okay.
But they can go up to, I have the exact number here. Of course, I should memorize it. It's 52 by 156.
Oh, geez. Okay. So pretty big.
Exactly. And I find like I put all kinds of things in here because like as a photographer, often things like the tripod bags that come with your tripod are not really
Well, was it hard to
stuff.
reach out to the company? I mean, was it hard to license an idea or not? Some people think it's really difficult. Was it hard for you?
Actually, it wasn't really that hard because I had a really strong need for this product.
All right.
And I felt like, well, everything just happened step by step. And it probably helped the fact that Mark Rogers, 5 years before, he started his company based on the fact that he could not find like a 13 by 19 inch size frame, which is the digital sizes that became popular in the early 2000s. So he started his whole company based on a need. And I think he saw that in me and what my need was, and it made all the difference.
What about intellectual property? How do you protect something like that, or do you?
Oh, gosh. It's not, unfortunately. I mean, I didn't see any way to really protect it. I couldn't think of a way.
But it didn't matter.
It didn't because it's a product, and what makes it really unique or very close to unique is the fact that they can be purchased in quantities as few as one. And that's a lot different than when you go to buy a bubble bag.
All right.
And you really can't find bubble bags with the same type of material.
All right.
So it's a material. It's also the fact that they can be made in any size and in quantities as few as one.
Okay. Any problems along the way?
Yes. In fact, I wouldn't call the initial finding of supplies a problem, really, but we did need a machine because we wanted to make beautiful seams. Like these seams, this is the first problem. In order to make beautiful seams, unlike most bubble bags, he ended up, the owners, purchasing a custom machine to make these beautiful seams that you see there. So that was the first problem, but it was solvable. The next problem, and this came much later, that was the company who was making this beautiful heavyweight material stopped making it.
Oh.
And that's
what do you do about that?
Yeah, it was a real problem. So luckily, see, I'm really an expert in Google. So I started like looking at all different companies that make bubble bags. And I got samples, and none of them were good enough. Like the material wasn't good enough, or it would easily pop. One of the things that's nice about it is you can try, but you really can't pop it. And so we wanted this really nice heavyweight material, and I was looking and looking, and finally someone said, oh, why don't you consider this particular type of formula? It's basically a formula. So we were able to duplicate from another company what we needed, and luckily we were only down like about a month. It may have been a little longer. It's such a blur. It's like one of those things you don't want to remember.
Well, Andrew, thank you very much for sharing your story. It's inspiring, to tell you the truth. In fact, I think it's wonderful. You saw a problem. It's in a field that you understand it. You reach out to a company that understood it as well. You had a couple issues along the way. And you're collecting royalties on an idea that seems fairly simple, but there's always a few issues. And without any protection, people are always surprised by that. But companies are looking for ideas all the time. So anything else you'd like to share with anybody?
Well, I think just two things. If you'd like to maybe find out a little bit more about me and my story, you can go to andrewdarlow.com. I'm sure you'll have the spelling there. And if you would like to find out more about this product, you can go to either gallerypouch.com or framedestination.com.
Perfect.
And the other big tip is, I would say, if you want to do what I did, the best way to do that is to make connections with people who are making products or selling products in an area that you're very interested in, and then find out what you personally want, and then send them some prototypes, go through the proper procedure, thanks to you. I know that, Stephen.
Good.
And I think that's really the best process.
Andrew, thank you very much. And thank you for being a friend for all these years. I do appreciate it very much.
Great. Thank you, Stephen. You're the best.
Thank you.